What's up, Deuterinos? Welcome to the Game Addicts Podcast, a show where we talk about modern and retro video games. I'm your Player 1, Brando. He's Player 2, Mike.
Hello.
And we are here to once again bring at you some awesome gaming news and info and views.
I don't say this. One of them's not awesome.
They're probably not all awesome. I'm just kind of being overambitious.
I know.
I mean, this is post E3.
Yes.
So the level of importance of whether or not you place each article of news. Some of this news is probably not going to be important to 90% of you.
Right.
But I tried to go through and I tried to find some stuff that was interesting to talk about. Some of it pertains to stuff that I like. Some of it might pertain to stuff that you like. Some of it might pertain to stuff that our audience likes.
Right.
As far as this podcast was going to be I wanted to be a unique amalgamation of, hey, let's talk about what's going on, and then let's talk about this retro stuff. I haven't been buying stuff. I haven't been buying retro stuff. I haven't been collecting. I've been saving my money as much as I can.
We both have, other than me finding Attack on Titan 2.
Yeah, well, and there's something coming out soon that I want to buy, and something that you have
already purchased.
You already bought it?
I already paid for Octopath Traveler.
Not that.
What you said that I want to pick up, and that's,
we talked about
the
it
closest
today.
thing.
We talked about it today. We talked about it last week a little bit. Or was it? I don't know. The weeks.
Oh, the
Megaman X Legacy Collection comes out at the end of July.
Yes.
Let's see if I got an actual hard date. I don't see a hard date. Yep, July 24th. So it'll be available for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, and Steam. But it's going to be. You can buy one each individually for $20. Or you can buy them both for $40. And there's even a collection of them where you can get 2 discs in the same case, which will save you, space on your bookshelf. And that's why I want that one, because it's like, man, yeah, I don't really care that much to have an individual case for each one.
We talked about this. Does the Switch offer them individually for $20? Because we spoke about how they have the quote-unquote double pack, but it's not a double pack. It says
here, physical editions will be available if you're a collector. Keep in mind that the Legacy Edition for Switch only has the first part on cartridge. The rest you'll need to download.
Yeah, see?
That's unfortunate. So
I for the Switch, I don't really like that because Switch has limited memory depending on how much money you want to spend on the memory.
Exactly.
And I know both of us picked up 128s for ours. And I don't agree with that because those little carts can actually hold quite a bit.
32 gigs. The 64 are not out yet. They won't be out maybe for another year.
I can't see that the first one, what is it? X1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, and then the other ones
take up 32 gigs.
I can't see that.
I can't see that.
What we do know is that they're going to have an X challenge mode, and what that entails apparently is that you'll be able to take on more than 1 or 2 bosses at once. So you can,
that'll make for some unique combinations.
Exactly,
I think we were talking about it. I don't know if X Series has this guy.
Well, okay, so here's the, here in the article it says, chill penguin, frost walrus, because I assume that they're going to, for each part, you might not be able to take bosses from all 8, but you may be able to take bosses from the first 4 and the last 4 and mix them up. Like you could do boss challenge mode, and then even in the original Mega Man Legacy Collection, you can actually customize a power set.
Yeah,
where you can bring powers from the other games in and give yourself a little power set to go through the boss challenge mode. But I'm actually really excited for that. I love Mega Man X. I never got to play a lot of these.
Same.
So I love the original one for Super Nintendo, and of course the other ones. If you're a physical collector, good luck on the Super Nintendo, man. 2 and 3 are expensive.
Yes.
So like on the PS1, when you're looking at 4, 5, 6, that's not too bad. I think there's like $10 a piece, maybe 15 at most.
Yeah, they linger around that price.
So like,
but the super ones are in the two and up.
Well,
I think 3's worth like $250.
I remember seeing Megaman X2 for like $135. Megaman X1 is not expensive. It's actually the cheapest one. I want to say I've seen that as low as $20, but as high as probably $40 or $50 depending online.
Right.
Is that Game Eye app? Is that what that looks like on iPhone?
No, I haven't even put it on there yet.
You don't have Game Eye?
No.
How dare you? How could you? It is our Lord and Savior. Also, I actually
It's not even bringing it up.
I actually gave the guy that created the Game Eye app.
Yeah.
I actually gave him some love. He is in the Metal Jesus Rocks group. Okay, so Megaman X1, loose cart, $19. Megaman X2, loose cart, $91. Megaman X3, loose cart, $200.
Yeah, as I say, I knew it was in the 200s.
And then Megaman X4 PlayStation with complete, that is $17. Megaman X4 complete on Saturn. You ready for this one? $148.
For the Saturn?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Megaman X5, $16. Megaman X6, $25. X7 on PS2 is $16. X8 is $25.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do mine because it is now
empty. I was able to find an old restore point from August of last year. I don't know what's all on there. I'm just going to
know. I have mine's just going through the update for the GG database.
Yeah, for the database. Now, see, like, I will say that you have a lot of games to do.
I know that the PS2's on there. Almost all my PS1's on there. The ones that I'll have to update are PS3, PS4, Switch. Obviously, I have no Switch games on there. And Vita and DS.
All right, so if I'm going to redo all of mine, because I did them a year ago.
I remember. Is that when you did all your pictures?
I did all the pictures, and then I deleted most of them because I wasn't posting them.
Right.
And in honesty, like, I didn't like the way they kind of turned out. So for a lot of them, in fact, I was taking them so fast that some of them are just blurry.
Right.
But the last time I checked, I had about 850 games.
What's your Game Eye say you have?
Well, that's what it said.
Oh, that's not right.
Yeah, it's about where I'm at.
I thought you were in the 9s.
No, I haven't crossed that threshold yet.
Oh.
I would make a big deal about crossing 9.
You didn't make me deal about crossing a grand.
1,000, yes, I will. But I'm not buying. I went to Disc Replay again before I got here.
Is that why you're...
I actually got in there and out pretty quickly.
What'd they have?
Dracula's Curse again.
Yes.
$20. Every time I see it, I'm like, I should just get it over with and buy it.
Did you see those other Joy-Cons?
No, I didn't look over there.
Oh, okay.
I glanced over in that general direction. They had like 3 PS4 Pros.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then their mountain of Xbox Ones.
Yeah, the S's. They only have like 3 or 4 of the X's.
Yeah, but like I'm talking the original old like launch model.
Yeah,
like
they have a mountain of those.
I got my new Xbox One controller, and I guess I do have a sort of a pickup this week.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's just got a headphone jack on it.
Uh-huh.
Like the PS4s, like because when they launched with them, they came out with their little proprietary little headset thing.
Yeah.
And then they kind of updated it like maybe a year later, a year or two later. Actually, it was actually a little bit longer than that because I got the Advanced Warfare one, right?
Right.
And that one came with the old style.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's kind of cool because now I've got that collector controller. I don't have to use it anymore. I can kind of let it. It's kind of like the Star Wars controller. I used it for a little bit, and I'm like, I don't want to wear off the chrome.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for Mega Man X to come back out and be able to play some of that. Of course, that means a good thing for Mega Man fans because we got Mega Man 11 coming out.
Yep.
Capcom's trying to turn themselves around.
That's good. They've.
Mm-hmm. There's another company that seems to be wanting to do that. Done. Konami.
Oh, I thought they were getting out of the gaming stuff and going into the slot machines.
According to this article from comicbook.com, for a while now, Konami has been probably considered one of the worst companies in gaming in the gaming industry. I almost said gaming history, and I wouldn't be wrong.
No, yeah.
Between its treatment of Hideo Kojima and Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, development forcing him to form his own studio and work on Death Stranding, the cancellation and all-out removal of its PT Silent Hills assets, and branding Pachinko machines with franchises like Silent Hill and the Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake, which has a lot of cutscenes redone in the new Fox engines and looks beautiful and amazing. And I'm shaking my fist at you, literally, Konami, for basically cock teasing me that much for that. Because that game looks absolutely beautiful. The story in Metal Gear Solid 3 is the one and only best absolute single story in the entire series.
Yes.
From beginning to end. Yes, MGS1 is amazing. I love the game. 1 and Snake Eater are the two that you can play and not play any of the other ones and be completely utterly content without wondering, well, what happens after this? What happens after that? It has a beginning, middle, and end finale. Snake Eater's beautiful. Anyway, end rant. Back to the news. But we could be soon seeing a change of the guard here. The company sent out a press release today announcing it was hiring a number of new executives along with forming a new production division within its gaming development system. Under Chief Operating Officer Hideki Hayakawa.
Good luck. I was going to say good luck.
Production Division 1 Director Sadaki Kanayoshi will handle games for mobile, console, and PC. Production Division 2 Director Shoei Dewa will handle card games, and other hires have been made as well, including Yoshihiko Ota as Corporate Officer and Masato Kubota as Human Resource Department General Manager. Names might not be familiar to gamers, but there is some good news here. The company is structuring a Production Division 3 that will work within its digital entertainment business. No, not pachinko, but rather games. Apparently, the division was put together to respond to the rapid market changes that surround Konami and to achieve further growth of our digital entertainment business. It doesn't mean that we're going to see new Contra or Castlevania anytime soon, but it's a step in the right direction. We'll probably see what the company has planned within the next year. Again,
Pause.
Game-wise.
A new Contra would be fucking amazing.
And also, please note that Bloodstained, the new spiritual successor to Castlevania Symphony of the Night, is coming out and looking amazing.
Yes, it does.
And also, their little 8-bit Castlevania 3 inspired game is out for $10 on pretty much all systems, and I want to buy it. And I think I will buy it for Shutdown. I want to play it.
There you go.
I may even stream it. You guys can go watch me suck at games. Trust me, there's a lot of game overs in The Last of Us so far.
Yeah. Well, you were in the clicker tell. That's what I call it. Clicker tell.
I was in. Okay, so guys, just not to branch off too much here. I am going to get back to this. I mean, really, there's not really too much more to say, other than the fact that they released, the Metal Gear Survive,
Garbage.
And I guess yesterday was a good first step in this direction with an update to Super Bomberman R, which is out for the Switch.
Yeah.
And other systems now that included Solid Snake characters. Solid Snake characters? Probably Metal Gear Solid characters. Probably like what they're meaning to say is characters from other things, including Solid Snake, voiced by David Hayter, which he's coming back for the Smash version. He's coming back to voice the character that he was booted out of. Which is awesome. It's awesome. I love Hayter. He is Snake to me. I don't shit on Kiefer for his portrayal in Phantom Pain. I thought he did good, but like he's not hater Snake,
right?
But also like characters from Contra, Legend of the Mystical Ninja, and more. So it's like, you know, they pretty much said, hey, we might be coming back and doing some stuff, and I guarantee you, your best way forward is to look at what's happening in the industry, look at what people are wanting, look at what people are reacting to, because you don't always need to come out with a brand new, explosive new idea for an entry.
I think right now, with the way everything's going, a open world Contra, first person or third person, would be amazing.
You know what you start off with?
Well, you go back to the roots.
Yeah, no, because okay, so what you think about in like, indie games? Let's do that in quotes here.
Yeah.
Let's do that in quotes, because look at, there's a game for PS4 and probably for Steam and Xbox One. I don't know if it's on Xbox One, but I know I got it for free on PS Plus, and that was the complete remake of Strider.
Oh yeah,
and it is a newer graphical, but it's Strider. Yep. It is straight up Strider. So
I got that too. I got both of them.
Yeah, dude, they're good.
They're good.
So imagine, you know, okay, so they're doing Bloodstained, right? You know, Castlevania for years was the same kind of gameplay, that old school gameplay. Does it need to be old school graphics? No, but let's go back to that style and say, look at this, because you already have Bloodstained, which was completely and utterly successfully funded. You know, it has been for a long time, and they're finally getting to the point where they're getting close.
Right.
And everyone's loving what they're seeing from this. This is very visual. It's beautiful. It's definitely Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, with a different skin, with a different characters, different story. But it is very much a love letter to that game. And I'm not saying you need to copy Symphony of the Night, but what I'm saying is let's take Castlevania, instead of making Lords of Shadow or wherever it was 3, the ones that like came out on the PS3 and Xbox, where it was more like God of War, you know, trying to do something else. Let's go back to that and then have that idea going. Meanwhile, you can go, what can we do over here utilizing this? You know, so we have this to kind of reintroduce Castlevania to the newer generation of gamers. You know, it's old, but it's new. Same with Contra. Do an awesome side-scroller shooter. With like, imagine the kind of shooter that you can get on the newer hardware and this new limitations. It could be absolutely outrageously beautiful. And then all the different stuff they can have on screen coming at you and all this stuff, it won't be as limited as some of the older games. And then, as you said, you plant the seed with that first one, and then have another team over here going, writing down ideas, putting together like a new Contra.
I think that you take Castlevania, so do what you say. That's fine, but I think that your primary goal is to pull Castlevania and Contra into this this new generation of how games are. Think about a Bloodborne style Castlevania. That would be amazing.
Now, I just had an epiphany.
Bloop.
Take the old school side scroller, right? Make it a tie-in with the anime that's on Netflix, and make the graphics look just like the anime.
No, yeah.
Boom. I mean,
done.
Yeah, it's gonna look amazing. And then you have Silent Hill and Metal Gear. So what do you do to win the Metal Gear people back? This is where you've got to handle this carefully.
This is something that you either remake old ones or you freaking. Well, actually, Kojima's not going to. He's done. He's done.
But what if I were them in Konami? What I would do is not have him do anything with it, other than have him try and give a seal of approval. Yeah, because that. Right there, because he didn't have he produced in quotes the Twin Snakes remake on GameCube. He stepped back. He let that guy do whatever he wanted with that almost.
Right.
you know. And meanwhile, when they asked him about it, they're like, "What do you think about that?" He goes, "It's cool. It's not mine, but it's cool." He goes, "It's a bit over the top, but that's why I wanted them to do it." He goes, "It's fun." But so what I would do is, because I would do one of two things. First of all, remake Snake Eater.
Yeah.
Okay. Stuff has already started for that, and that stupid Pachinko crap that I just ranted about. Start it, go, and just imagine, because you already have the Fox engine, you already have the engine they use for Phantom Pain, and you just plan it over, make some slightly larger areas to where maybe you don't have as much loading in like in between, because while Snake Eater is kind of forest and jungle derivative, you are still sort of on like a path.
Yeah.
So you still make you on the path and still don't stray from that game, but make the areas much bigger for you to explore, kind of get into some hairy situations. Or you continue the story from where Phantom Pain left off. Phantom Pain circles back around, and the next chapter of the story is the original Metal Gear game that was released in 1987 for the MSX. I
would not make a new Metal Gear game.
I wouldn't make a new one. I would go back to that 87 one
and remake
that, because there's far less people who have played that. That is the introduction of the Solid Snake character. If you already have Hater coming back playing the character, he's perfect. If you can get, because check this out. And I'm going to spoil Phantom Pain for you, and I probably already have in the past.
You already have, so it don't matter.
So you actually aren't Big Boss in Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
At all. You are Phantom Snake. You're technically a guy that you are the player character. You were a medic on the helicopter that blew up that he was on. So now he realizes it at the end and accepts it. So now Big Boss, the real one's over here doing his thing and making his own thing, and you're over here as the pseudo Big Boss doing your thing. And actually, the Big Boss that is in charge of Outer Heaven in Metal Gear, the original, is Phantom Boss. Kiefer Sutherland Boss.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if you can get Kiefer back to voice that Big Boss, because then he dies. Dun, 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 Big Boss is dead.
Right.
So in the next game, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, the leader of Zanzibar Land is Big Boss. How can this be? You died. I'm the real one. He's the real one.
Right.
Then he gets fatally injured, his body gets preserved.
Right.
And then that leads to Metal Gear Solid. So it writes itself. You can just go into like...
But, as you said, seal of approval is necessary.
Absolutely no. Kojima's seal of approval, and because if you're going to try and win the fans back, they've got to believe that Kojima's okay with this. And that he sees this and them crafting a story off that original game that he did.
Yep.
And he goes, "This is cool." And if it's, it on the cover, it's not going to say a Hideo Kojima game, but they can ride that press of Kojima gives us the thumbs up. We met with him, we showed him what we had out of respect, and he said, "Good job."
Yeah, because if you make a Metal Gear game without Kojima saying this is good, or I approve this game, this Metal Gear entry, everybody's going to be,
and you would hope that they would, but then again, it's like you never really. Hopefully, those hard feelings aren't still there.
Well, I think the changing of the guard will help.
I hope so,
to help smooth that out. And I think that he will be more inclined to really take an eye, maybe just getting to consult. Hey, this is a portion we've got of this game. What do you think about it?
He's always said that he wanted to hand it off to somebody else. Like he always said that, like the next one is his last one.
Yeah,
he always said that, and then they kept going, because then what would happen? They would make a new engine. They would make this, and he would go, "Oh, that'd be cool to do this. And that'd be cool to do that."
Well, the Fox engine, he said, that's what he wanted. This is the kind of game that he wanted to make. And then Konami cut him and didn't let him finish the game and said, just put it out.
It's awful, because
you can see it in his face when he did his press conferences for 5, because he's just it's this. We're hoping to get a little bit more in there, and he's really pushing it, and it never got to his level.
Eventually, over on twitch.tv/GameAddictsPlay, I'm going to play through the entire Metal Gear series. And,
That's all you.
I would love to sit down with you, and we could play them together, because that way you could actually, from beginning to end, get the story.
Yeah.
But then you could also understand the disappointment, because when you're playing 5, it's great.
Right.
It feels great. It plays great. It starts off great, and is like story wise, as far as like leading you in, giving you enough of a cast to like start reeling you in and go, what kind of crazy Kojima twists and turns am I going to go down in this game? And then you get to a certain point where you're like, man, okay, this is kind of weird. This isn't the way that I thought this would be going. And then it kind of crescendos, and then it just kind of keeps going. And then it does and then it dips back down, and then another one, and then the end. And then if you get the collector's edition like I got, you get a bonus disc that has the last mission that was cut because like Little Kid Liquid Snake and Phantom or Psycho Mantis take off with Metal Gear Philanthropist, and they're like shaking fist, and they never do anything. But that last mission, you take down Metal Gear for the last time. It's done, destroyed, and you leave Liquid to die.
Which obviously we know
doesn't happen,
but
because in Metal Gear, like there's the big twist. There's a couple of big twists in Metal Gear, but like there's a virus that's killing everybody.
Fox die.
Yeah, kinda, but it's spread through speech.
He always makes weird things spread through speech,
because
so you just hearing it.
So, like, people on Mother Base are dying, and they're getting sick, and they're like, yeah, we don't know what's going on. And then they figure out every single person who is in the ward all speaks the same language. Because when you're out there recruiting people, it's not everybody speaks the same language. There's Russian, there's local, maybe, I can't remember, it begins with a K, but because the two big maps are in Afghanistan, and then there is in Africa. And
right.
So... then he's going to be one. Then there's going to be one that is spread through English.
Break number 1 for me.
Yeah, all right. So there's a character in the game called Quiet, and she's a sniper.
Yes.
She doesn't speak through the majority of the game. That mission for her final one, that one is like, dude, that one is so like emotional. Because the reason why she doesn't speak is because she's infected. And if she does, she spreads it. Wow. And so when she's with you, she doesn't speak, she hums. Like, because you can take a buddy out with you. Like when you go out, right? So you can take D-Dog. You can take Quiet. You can take D-Walker, which is like this little like walking tank-like thing. I usually either took D-Dog or Quiet. Because Quiet, she would get up in a sniping position and get a good view on the enemy, and then when she would start humming to you over the radio, that would mean that she has a shot, and you could give her an action to either take the shot or just stay. But she takes off, and then when you go find her and save her, because she ends up getting captured, and then Snake is getting her. Through the desert, and there's a storm coming in, and they're in a sandstorm and everything, and he's carrying her, and he is actually exhausted, and he starts collapsing, and I can't remember if he gets like bit by a snake or something, and then like they're trying to radio in like, boss, where are you? Like the evac chopper, and like it's like, come back, like come in, we need to get you out, and then she tries speaking in another language. To say where they are, and they like, we don't copy, we don't understand you. She has to speak, and then she does to save boss. And then they find them, and then she takes off and leaves because she's probably going to die.
Huh.
Dude, it's like some of the stuff they did in that game was like, oh, that's awesome. And then the whole thing with Liquid, he got infected with it, with the same thing. And Boss left him to die and left him a pistol to kill himself. And then they take off, and they're going to nuke the whole island to kind of get rid of the virus, right? And or I'm sorry, the parasite. And there's like little kid Liquid, and then there's little kid Mantis, and Mantis pulls it out of him and saves him, and then they go and fly off. And that's kind of like when you go to Metal Gear Solid, and there's Liquid, and he has a certain loyalty to Mantis, and Mantis to him.
Right.
That goes back to them being kids. And they never explain that, but in 5 you get to see that.
And that's awesome.
If you have the collector's edition.
If you have the collector's edition.
But it's awesome. I really hope that Konami comes. I have hope. I have very little hope. I want them to do well because I don't want to hate them, and I don't want to hate the stuff that they put out. Bomberman was awesome. They put out Bomberman. Good on ya. We played it on the Switch, and we had a great time.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
The computer's freaking awesome at it.
All right, so
I don't remember Bomberman being that hard.
It can be.
Anyways.
PlayStation free games for July released. So next week, PS4, PS3, Vita titles coming out. Number 1, PS4, Heavy Rain.
Wow.
So just a few months ago, we got Beyond Two Souls. Now we're getting the other one, Heavy Rain, which is good. That's awesome. I like Heavy Rain. The other one is Absolver. It is an online multiplayer combat experience where players are placed behind the mask of a prospect of the ever-present guides of the new rulers of the fallen Adal Empire that will determine your worth in joining their elite corps of enforcers. Alrighty. PS3 games, Rayman 3.
Yeah.
Deception 4. No, I'm sorry, Deception 6. I know my Roman numerals. The Nightmare Princess. Vita games, and a special deal for PlayStation Now. Vita has Space Overlords and Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma. And then also, PlayStation Blog has boasted a sweet new deal for the PlayStation Now service. Right now, between now and September 25th, PS Plus members who join PS Now or extend their current paid subscription will get 3 months of PS Now for just $29.99. The normal price for 3 months is $44.99. So you get a little bit. And now, of course, that kind of coincides in September. Hopefully, we're getting download support for that.
Yes.
And I really hope that's coming. And that would actually almost entice me to do some of that because they have PS2 and PS3 titles in there.
Yes.
So, cool. I didn't see Xbox Live ones, but I did see the new July games getting added to Xbox Game Pass. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
I got to find them first.
You're not ready.
I know I wasn't. July 11th, Warhammer Vermintide 2. July 1st, Dirt 4. July 1st, Fallout 3.
Yeah.
July 1st, Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion.
Yeah. That's big titles right there.
Mm-hmm. And then what rounds it out after that, there's some smaller ones. Zombie Army Trilogy, Bomber Crew, Abzu, Shadow Complex Remastered, and Human Fall Flat. So, yeah, a couple more Bethesda titles coming to Xbox Game Pass for only $9.99 a month.
You can't, I'm sorry, you can't beat that.
Absolutely not. And
they just put Fallout 4 on
Yeah.
there, and what was the other one they put on there?
oh, dude, I know it too. They said it, didn't they?
They did, and it was
Gosh
like,
darned it.
oh.
I can't remember. But I also have another Bethesda thing of news. The Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus Nintendo Switch size, or Nintendo Switch download size, has been confirmed.
Oh, man.
The digital release will clock in at 21.8 gigabytes.
Jesus.
Which is much larger than previously estimated. Keep in mind, this is before any patches that were added to the game for improvement and does not include any DLC.
Man.
Woo!
Well, there goes a third of your card right there.
Yeah, no kidding. Again, another reason to buy physical. However, there is an article that I read just last night. Analysts predicting that video games going 100% digital by 2022.
Huh.
Having the option to choose between physical and digital games is pretty convenient for a lot of players, but a pair of analysts believes that we'll see a huge change in the market in just over a few years.
I have a feeling that the 5 and whatever Xbox names their new one will be looking at.
I have a feeling.
Heavy download.
I have a feeling they're going to have, you know how, okay, so for example, right now you have the Xbox One S.
Yeah.
You have the Xbox One X. You have the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. Okay. Each one of those has a performance enhancement.
Right.
I would not be surprised myself for when these new consoles come out, there are two models. Just like when they had the PS3 and the 360, you had two models. Do you remember that? For the 360, you had the 20 gig model, and then then you had like the 60 gig model or whatever it was. And then for the PS3, you had the $500 20 gig, and the $600 60 gig.
60 gig, yeah.
That was completely backwards compatible. I would not be surprised for there to be two SKU systems for them to go, all right, so check this out, guys. For $400, in fact, they may even push it up even higher. I'm just going to use $400 for this because I think it's better. $400, you get the PlayStation 5 completely as it is, disc-based. But for $300, you get the PS5 with no optical drive going completely digital, plus a memory
boost.
A memory boost.
Yeah.
So that way they can, and then also with complete support from launch day for external hard drives.
Yeah, you'd have to at that point.
And so what that's going to do, people like you and me going to go out there and buy the optical drives ones to keep our physical stuff going. But that's the generation going to phase it out because right there at the get-go is a model focused at the digital, either through buying them digital like you do on Steam or like you can currently do on your systems, or going to the streaming route, or for the PS Now or the Xbox Games Pass or the EA Access, whatever. So I think that makes business sense because then you're going to also, because then what are you going to do? You have the people who are diehard into their collections going, I'm buying that no matter what. And they know you will.
Right.
But they also say, you have the thrifty gamer who are like, man, I'm a penny pincher. If I buy the slightly cheaper one, I'm not going to be able to trade in my games. But it'll be cheaper to get in from the get-go. They're going to get people to buy the cheaper one just by taking out the optical drive, taking out all those components.
I bet an actual better move would do not boost the hard drive. When you remove the optical drive, make that a slot to add a hard drive later on.
Sure.
So it would be the same platform, excluding the optical drive, but allowing you to have another internal.
Sure.
And then whenever you're ready, you can just
plug in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I bet, but that will also breed something that me and you...
Also, instead of putting another hard drive into the console, you could actually create a version of it that is then smaller and more compact.
It's true.
For your entertainment systems. Man, you could really do... Because then you can showcase and go, this is a PS5 with your discs. This is the PS5 of the future.
Yeah.
And buddy, when they're trying to sell you something, they're going to use all these buzzwords and tell you all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so anyway, let's go back to the article real quick to wind this out. He says, we believe that is a certainty that video games will be 100% digital in the coming years. Duh. And the exact timing is hard to pinpoint, but we think 2022 as a realistic expectation. This also comes off the heels of the news that GameStop's looking to sell.
Yes.
GameStop is going to go away, especially when they start doing this. Our expectation is that major publishers will increasingly test and commercially develop streaming game offerings over the next 3 to 5 years. Streaming games from the cloud without need for dedicated hardware or massive downloads would materially grow the TAM, total addressable market, for high-end console styles. Specifically today, the primary market for video game publishers is tied to the consumers that own an Xbox One, PS4, or gaming PC, which is currently...
I just had a great idea, but continue.
Which currently has an installed base of 120 to 250 million users, depending on how PC gaming is defined, and a minimum price point of $200 for the Xbox One S, which creates a barrier to entry for many would-be gamers. With ongoing data centers, build-outs, and improving internet speed, streaming games from the cloud could be a commercial reality within 2 or 3 years. So what they're saying is that they're looking at actual cheaper, less first-party machines. That would so instead of having just a PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, you could now have a Samsung game box that doesn't have all the power in it, but can accept your downloadable stream services. Not downloadable, I'm sorry, but your streaming services from Ubisoft. So you have to have a subscription to Ubisoft to get all their games, a subscription to EA to get all their games.
I'm thinking
we're going to get milked.
I think a really good idea, if they're wanting to do this, and I feel like Microsoft is leaning this way already, because as they stated, they want you to play your games anywhere on anything. So what I'm thinking that they're going to do, pop a cloud. Got all the games in. Yeah. So you got all your games up in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on your PC, so you've purchased these games. You just click on the cloud, it downloads it to it, you're playing it. A lot of games nowadays are compatible with phones.
Yeah.
So you could, I'm at this save point. You could transfer your save over to your phone, take it wherever you go, take it on your tablet. I feel like that's what Microsoft's feeling as, that you can sit down, you could have your Xbox console, whatever it may be, and you can play on,
box
it's
made by
very
Microsoft,
cheap.
Without any actual hardware in it. Yeah.
We're talking like $200, and it would have some hardware in it to improve the graphics on your TV.
Probably.
I'm assuming, and this is just me personally,
enough to run probably enough to run an OS.
An OS, and I would say if they were smart, they would at least make it 4K compatible for TVs.
For TVs, and then also for your streaming services.
Right.
To offer that. Yeah.
So you do a box that you have on your TV, your PC. Most people that do this, a PC is capable now.
You'd be able to stream your PC to your box.
Yep, everything will be streamable. I mean, that's where it's going.
I hate it.
It's where it's going, because I think it's a great idea for you. I mean, it's a great idea. I personally don't want it, but for them, it saves them billions.
So much, because then we actually don't own the games, which they don't want us to own them.
Right.
Because then we can't sell them.
Yep.
They
want you to pay the $60, but here's my biggest concern. They're prepping, because 4K, true 4K, is not here in the house. I have two 4Ks, and they're not fully 4K. They're more like 2K. They're going to start. That's going to be a thing where they'll have that. But as we know, we've seen it from PlayStation 1 up to PS4. The price is going to keep going up.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take away that production, and it'll all be digital.
Not only will it be
don't
digital,
bump it up anymore. I get that you're going to do 5K or 4K stuff, but don't bump it up anymore.
But for this kind of market, not only would it be digital, you wouldn't even own the game.
Right.
You would only have access to it as long as you were subscribed, which they've already conditioned us to be okay with that through the Xbox Live and PS Plus subscriptions.
Yep.
We only have access to those games as long as we're a subscriber, and we pay them our $60 a year. We're only going to have access to the new Assassin's Creed game as long as we're a subscriber to the Ubisoft subscription service.
Mm-hmm.
Once we cancel, we can't play that game. If we want to play it again, we got to do that. What they can also do that subscription only entails the base game. You can also pay them extra for microtransactions and also for DLC, which you can only access if you have a subscription.
Yeah.
Buddy, tell you what.
It's going digital.
Oh, capitalism.
That my biggest concern is that let's say that you go non-streaming, because obviously they're going to have a pay, buy, and stream.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, most people are going to be like, I'm not paying to stream this if I don't get to keep it. A lot of people that way. I know I'm that way.
Sure, absolutely.
But you're talking about your hard drives. A 1 terabyte hard drive, only a quarter of those games are on that PS4 because they don't fit.
Yeah, I have a terabyte on my Xbox One and my PS4 Pro, and my PS4 Pro I barely have anything on because I've installed my Humble Bundle. I think I have God of War on it. I just installed Last of Us because I tried streaming on the PS4 Pro. I haven't put like any other games on it really,
right?
Because I mean, the PS4 Pro is now the living room PlayStation, which is like the movie machine for the kid. And then my PlayStation, which is doing that shit where it won't turn on sometimes still, even after I cleaned it. You'll put your finger on it, it goes beep, and then it'll go click, and it won't turn on.
We'll look and see what component that is. Since I have one, mine turns on fine. It's just the graphics.
I don't know if it's not getting. I don't know the problem because I keep looking into it, and it's not telling me what the issue is. I don't know if it's something within the like it's not getting enough power, because what I'll have to do then, because then it's not responsive to any sort of touch or any sort of input, I have to unplug it, plug it back in, and try again.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe what we can do is, since I have the Dead 4, my original,
I wonder how dead it is.
It turns on.
So it turns on.
It turns on.
No video?
No video. The VGA is burnt.
Well, really dive into there.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like, if we could, what if we could swap out majority of those components? And boom.
Maybe.
You get a working second PS4.
Right. Speaking of PlayStation boss on crossplay, we're looking at the possibilities.
We're looking.
It's already possible because Fortnite accidentally enabled it last year.
Fortnite enabled it. Rocket Leaves enabled it. Yeah. Just to say, look,
do
it works. They figured it out.
Eurogamer reporter Robert Purchase. It almost looks like purchase, but it also looks like cheese. So Purchese. He's from Europe. I'm sorry if I sorry if I did that, but he was able to speak directly to Sean Layden at the Game Lab conference in Spain, where Layden and Mark Cerny were giving a presentation about PlayStation's legacy. When he got a hold of the microphone, he said the following: "I thought it was fascinating you talking about the PS3 flying too close to the sun, your Icarus moment, you called it, and then PS4 coming back to being more back to basics, more about the players. But there seems to be an issue at the moment that Sony isn't listening to its players, or it doesn't seem to be, and that's crossplay, Fortnite, in particular. And I wonder if there's any plans to open it up. It seems to be that Sony's not listening." He called out Sony bosses right then and there.
Yeah.
So then
that was a representative from Sony?
No, that was a reporter talking to Sean Layden and Mark Cerny. Mark Cerny is the guy that helped create the PS4.
Yeah.
And Sean Layden, he is the let's see if it says Sony Interactive Entertainment America CEO.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He said that to the CEO.
He said that to him.
Damn, that's bold. Straight up, and he had no response.
Layden replied, "We're hearing it," he admitted. "We're looking at it a lot. We're looking at a lot of the possibilities. You can imagine that the circumstances around that affect a lot more than just one game. I'm confident we'll get to a solution which will be understood and accepted by our gaming community, while at the same time supporting our business." That is a pretty politically correct answer.
I was getting ready to say that's a very
politically
correct and
he
bland.
Basically he offered no answer with that, other than the fact trying to say we're looking into allowing it. But what I'm not understanding is, from their standpoint, it's like, what about that is harming your business when you have so right now, Sony's riding on top, man. They're up high with 80 plus million PS4s sold. We don't know how many Xbox Ones are sold, but it is more than Nintendo Switches. But considering that the time frame of those releases, the Switch is they haven't announced 20 million, but I assume they're going to reach that this year, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
But Nintendo and Xbox released a co-trailer with Minecraft because Xbox owns Minecraft.
Right.
So they're like, and then you have Nintendo, and it's like, boom, red and green releasing a trailer together saying, yeah, you can play crossplay on our system. Not only with Minecraft, but with Rocket League and with Fortnite. That is a big deal.
It is.
And it makes no sense to me.
Fortnite is huge right now.
It is, yes.
Everybody's
it is
playing
very
crap
popular.
in it.
Congrats to Epic for doing that. But
sorry for your legal dispute with
PUBG. Yeah, screw PUBG. That is that's a stupid.
We own the rights to Royale.
The only thing within that lawsuit that potentially may have some legitimacy in court is that the people who made PUBG licensed Unreal Engine to do it, and there may be a no compete clause in the contract with the licensing thing, saying that since Epic makes Unreal Engine, cannot create a game of similar style using the same engine. To me, that is still sort of a.
But I mean, that is if they did legally sign stating that they wouldn't.
Again, it's like, what language is that? That's where you're going to have the.
Is that on the Unreal Engine? Is Fortnite on it?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, Epic, has created.
Unless it is a version. It cannot be the same.
Well,
if it's a different version of the Unreal Engine, it could be produced on it.
Well, that's where you're going to have to get into a courtroom,
yeah.
and you're going to have these legal beagles go back and forth about legal verbiage and legal documents saying, well, what constitutes as this, what constitutes as this, what constitutes as this, and they're going to be going back and forth. And this side's going to be saying this should not be allowed. And the other side's like, it should be because we created it, and like, well, you licensed it, and you said in the contract, and it's like, well, it's a lot different from the whole Bethesda thing.
Yeah.
For Bethesda suing Warner Brothers, or probably more specifically, the developers that basically stole Fallout Shelter's code.
They literally stole the code, like not tweaked it. Is literally the exact code.
Well, these devs apparently worked on Fallout Shelter with Bethesda for the mobile,
right?
And then went over to Warner Brothers. And they're like, let's make a Westworld version of this. And instead of taking the ideas that they learned from what they did in Fallout Shelter and making, all right, so it's not against the rules to make a similar game.
No.
It's against the rules to take a folder with the code, copy and paste, put over here, and now the game works.
And then change the
because now what you're doing is that dev that worked with Bethesda basically just said, well, we're going to essentially do the Telltale where we have our own engine and everybody comes to us to make the games. No, that you had an exclusive agreement with Bethesda for this game. And if you wanted to make a similar game, you're free to do so with Westworld, but you better be going back to the drawing board and making a new engine based off your ideas for that.
Right.
And that's just where especially when Bethesda's like, yeah, we messed around with it and found a glitch in a bug that was an earlier version of ours. And it's still there.
Yeah.
That is so bad.
Well, as our good friend Blaine pointed out today, Bethesda knows their code by their glitches.
They know how glitchy their games are.
They know how glitchy their games are.
They're using it to win a court case.
Right.
Oh, man. It's so bad.
Which is one of our topics.
That was one of our topics. And I'm now down to the last topic.
And that would be?
I've saved it for last because this made me this really made me face palm. And
that was awesome. I actually got that on.
Yeah, I know. So our good friends over at BioWare who are making Anthem. Coming out next year.
Oh, yeah.
And BioWare Montreal, I think it was, or Edmond. No, I don't remember which one is which.
I don't remember. I think Edmondson is the one that's doing Anthem.
Is it Edmonton,
Edmonton?
or are they in? They're over there somewhere. The other ones that made Andromeda, basically during E3. What's the dude's name? What's the dude's name? This is what I get for having to skim articles. So, one of the developers who worked on Mass Effect Andromeda, Mark Dara, recently spoke with Game Informer in the popular 123 Rapid Fire Question Series episode on Anthem. In the video, Mass Effect Andromeda came up when the host asked, "Did Andromeda get a fair shot?" To the question,
and by fair shot, he means.
Well, hold on. To the question, Darrow replied by blaming 5 other RPGs that released at the same time window as Andromeda. And then when basically he got, well, are you gonna go into like specifics?
Elaborate.
And he goes, essentially, we launched too close to Zelda Breath of the Wild. And he believes that those 5 other RPGs releasing around the same time meant Andromeda didn't get its first shot. His statement is a blatant lie and a ridiculous excuse with no logic or sense. First off, no major RPG released in March 2017 other than Breath of the Wild. There were the only other major games in the same month were Nier Automata and Ghost Recon Wildlands. And among them all, only Mass Effect can be considered a true RPG experience. Even Zelda is an action-adventure first.
Yes.
So to claim that Andromeda released during the busiest window in the history of gaming industry is a lie. But to hear this from an EA exec isn't surprising at all. Because, of course, this isn't the first time someone EA has lied on camera.
Well, and that's about every time they get on camera, isn't it? No player wants...
Mass Effect Andromeda had a hellacious 5-year development period where the game was restarted twice.
Yes.
Completely. And the last build of the game that we got at launch was built in 14 months.
Yep.
And at the 7th month or 6th month window out, they weren't just patching it and cleaning it up. They were keeping it together from falling apart. That is bad news. I don't care who you are, what you are. That is, in my opinion, a real shame for that game. That game deserved better than that. When I played that game, the gameplay of that game and the prospect of what that story could have been, it had everything to gain and everything to lose as well. Because with their mishandling of this, we may never get another entry over there in that story that they've created.
Yep.
Because there are a lot of options that you could do and a lot of great ideas they came up with that are buried in this 100-hour experience full of repetitive crap. I love Mass Effect. I'm a freak. I am a fanatic. I have replayed the trilogy so many times, multiple different ways, and I have not touched Andromeda since. Not because I don't ever want to play it again, but because the sheer thought of drudging my way through 10, 15, 20 hours to start getting to where the story starts getting that really good in Mass Effect 5, where you start marching forward and you start, getting your realizations and you start finding people and the arcs and everything kind of starts coming together. It just takes so long to get there.
Yep.
Now, more has been said. BioWare blames Mass Effect Andromeda reception on crowded reviews.
I hate you, EA. Straight up, because we know it's going to happen. If Anthem doesn't do what they think they expect it to do, we want them to sell off BioWare, but we know they won't. They'll dissolve it, and those IPs will be blank forever.
Where we going, Papa EA? Taking them out back.
Yeah.
Putting a bullet in his head. All right.
Many? I mean, we could list 6 or 7 games off the top of our head that they've killed.
Well, there's Visceral, there's Maxis. I mean, you can look it up. There's like the list is a who's who of gamer developers the last 20 years that they've killed.
Yep.
So, also what I said, it hurt it, and I've seen other people say this as well, is that when when the game went to EA Access and went out early, and the first 10 hours is like kind of the worst part of the game.
Yeah.
And that's what most people played. And they were like, yeah, I'm not going to buy this. Anyway, so that same dude recently talked about the very high-profile controversy and how the positive sides of the game were completely buried underneath a crowded review environment. Though he did openly admit that the game had its obvious flaws, he did also shed a little light on the inopportune launch window. Here we go again. First off, the question is not, is MEA secretly a great game, and did Nintendo make us fail? MEA is a deeply flawed game, especially at launch, but the review environment was crowded. Nier, Neo, Horizon, and Zelda all launched in MEA's window, which each does something better than MEA. Again, a flawed game. As a result, even systems that are pretty decent get scrutinized against superiorly implemented ones. Does launching in a different window turn a 72% into a 90? Certainly not. But 72 into a 77, 78, maybe. But who knows? As does the team. That sometimes there are just things you can't control. But he knows, as does the team. Here's the thing, he says. That's the nature of the industry. You don't have full control of when you launch, and no control of when others do. You know, Dragon Age Inquisition benefited by how tough a year 2014 turned out to be for games. You launch the best game you can. MEA has a lot of problems and got lapped by genuinely better games. Luckily, we know that the franchise isn't dead. He says, oh no, Mass Effect is definitely still happening. My source told me during this year's E3. This is an article on comicbook.com. The franchise is much too valuable to EA for them not to do anything with it, which, let me be real, is very exciting for us to hear. Understandably, the focus must be on Anthem until it launches.
I don't know what to say to it.
I get what he's coming at by being overcrowded by better games. And, like, for example, okay, so, you know, he mentioned two really big ones in there. He mentioned Breath of the Wild and Horizon.
Yes.
Which came out in the 90s. So you're playing these games that are amazing. And then you're playing Andromeda, which isn't. And then could that lead you to be like, I just played this awesome game and now I'm playing this? I get that.
But here's the problem, is that it is a Mass Effect entry. It should have been not amazing, but great.
It should have been in the 80s for sure.
It shouldn't even have dipped down that low. It should have been 80, 85. And then if you say, well, we were overcrowded, but we still put out a good game, and you're pushing 80, 85, that's fair. I can understand that Zero Dawn and Breath kind of overshadowed. But when people are saying they play the first 10 hours on the EA Access and they're like, yeah, I'm not buying this, that's telling me that you're putting out a shit game. Your hook is the first 10 hours. Your middle can be bland with its ups and downs. And then your end needs to be fantastic. But as you said, you don't want to play it because you dread going through that. I'm going to go here, kill some guys.
When you go okay, so you have these big explorable planets. They wanted to get back to that for the original Mass Effect.
Which is awesome.
The original Mass Effect had this almost a facade of exploration. It gave you the illusion of you having endless opportunity of where to go. You really didn't. You could only land on certain planets, and those planets where you landed on had a square of where you could explore.
Right.
That's it. And then you were in your shitty-ass Mako trying to drive over mountains, getting stuck, trying to utilize the boost and the blaster to try and move yourself around, finally get somewhere, find stuff on the map. I 100% of Mass Effect 1. The formula that Mass Effect 1 followed was literally the formula that BioWare had used for years in their story-based entries.
Yes.
You could almost put this game next to KOTOR, and you can almost beat for beat start it and I'd be able to tell you when and where it's going to pick up. You have your first part of the game, which is basically the tutorial. And you spend the first 40 minutes doing that.
Right. And
then you have the next big chunk. This is where you get to learn where you are in the world. This is this world. This is where you learn the other part of the RPG system is not just going around fighting. It's talking to people. It's advancing quests. It's you walking around and exploring. Because in KOTOR, you crash land on Taurus, and you got to find Bastila. That requires you to walk all around this place, talk to people, go to shops, go to cantinas, and you're looking for, and you're talking, and you're advancing quests. In Mass Effect, after the demo or the tutorial, you go to the Citadel, where you have to try and convince the council that Saren is a traitor. And you have to build a case against him. So you're wandering around the Citadel, talking to people, advancing quests, recruiting new members to build a case. And then after you go, then in KOTOR, you go to Dantooine, where you go meet the Jedi Council. You go do that, and you become a Jedi. And then you can go to one of 3 planets. In Mass Effect, after you get off the Citadel, you can go and explore. It's a lot bigger of a game. So you can go over here, go over here, try this. But there are 3 planets to go to. It is literally, beat for beat, the same kind of experience. With Mass Effect being a bigger game and being having more emphasis on exploration, giving you that feel of you getting to wander around and explore stuff. Mass Effect Andromeda doesn't have that. But it's also not developed by the same people. I have to say that. That game is not developed by the main team, BioWare. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to completely shit.
The main one is Montreal.
No. That was Edmonton.
Yeah.
Edmonton or British Columbia. We're in that part of Canada over there. Because the other one no longer exists. EA says, yeah, you set the building on fire, sent everybody else to work on other shit. And some of those went to Anthem, some of them went to another team. But like, when all else fails, blame Zelda.
Yeah.
Blame Zelda. You can't take trust me. If you can get Mass Effect Andromeda cheap, it's worth a playthrough. It's definitely worth a playthrough. If you can pick up that game.
If you can get through the first 20 hours.
It's a fun game to play. It really is. It's just, like, if you loved the original trilogy and you love the lore, I think you'll love it. But you need to really be a Mass Effect fan to have that kind of the kind of relationship that I do with it.
See, when I played it, I played through the story a little bit, and I was like, yeah, this sucks, multiplayer. And then I'd play multiplayer for a long time, and then I'd be like, oh, I want to go back. And then I would do about 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, I remember why. And then go back to multiplayer. Granted, I love the multiplayer, and I got my Valiant, which I love that gun.
I actually didn't like the multiplayer.
I loved it.
I didn't care for it as much.
To me, it's the same. It was almost the same thing.
I didn't really like it as much.
Beat for beat. I loved it.
I love what they added to the mythos. I love the Angaran race.
Right.
I absolutely love them. I even loved aspects of the Ket, where you're like, wow, these guys just kind of take over people and make people their own, and then you realize that these aren't just like a group. These are just a group sent by a massive government they control this entire galaxy, and you are a thorn in their side, and they sent a couple to them. So then the next Mass Effect Andromeda entry would have been dealing with the bigger,
the larger threat.
The larger threat, but it would have been different because it would have been more diplomatic. Because then you can focus on fighting. Yeah, you still fight some Ket, but just like in Mass Effect 1, where you have the Geth of the main threat, in Mass Effect 2, they're not. In fact, they're way back here in the back.
Well, you could also make it to where there is a new danger that is for both.
Well,
which they kind of already had that.
Well, you could explore more on the Remnant, which they said who they were. I can't remember what they were now, but it starts off with you thinking that the Ket are going to be the big bad again, and they are still the enemy. but like you're presented that enemy in a different way. Instead of them sending a bunch of ships after you, it's like you have to go talk with the big high cat council, and you're like, are they going to kill me? Yeah. But they want to. But yeah, no. You are going to be face to face with these. Imagine going through like a big city and nothing but cat. You're like, I just fought a bunch of you, and you tried to all kill me.
Yep.
And now I've got to walk through here, and it's going to be that big, heavy, oppressing feeling where you're like, I'm not welcome here. And they're all looking at you and talking and saying stuff, and then you get a cat crew member. Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be great, but it's not going to happen.
Nope.
Anyway, guys, that's all I got.
I don't have anything.
I have been playing The Last of Us over on Twitch when I can. I have a schedule, Monday and Friday. I'm not strictly adhering to it as best I can. I will try my best to post updates when I do. I streamed last night on Tuesday for about an hour and a half and got through the first... I didn't get through half of Pittsburgh. I wanted to get to half. I think I got through like the first third. So then the next time I play, maybe this Friday, I'm going to try and get... I'm trying to segment Last of Us into segments. In fact, I've already made all the thumbnails for YouTube. Because I'm going to be exporting all the gameplay over to YouTube for our YouTube channel. For you just go search Game Addicts Podcast, and we'll show up. But I have Last of Us 1, the beginning. Last of Us 2, Billstown. Last of Us 3, Pittsburgh Part 1. 4 is Pittsburgh Part 2. And then Last of Us 4 is Tommy's place.
Yeah.
And then Last of Us 5 is the university.
Yes.
Last of Us 7 is the cannibals. Last of Us 8 is the end.
That ending.
I already have it all segmented out to how I want to do it. I've been having some slight issues with my internet connection, even with my cord that I got in, because the other day I had it connected. I lost connection twice. Switched to Wi-Fi. Ran fine for the next hour and a half, and then just last night I was running corded. Got disconnected twice. I'm sorry. I was running Wi-Fi. Disconnected twice. Corded, ran fine. I don't know what's going on. I think it'll be better once I get the laptop, because that wired will have a much constant, stable connection than a console does, hopefully. But go check us out and follow us over on twitch.tv/GameAddictsPlay. I'm playing some games starting on July 2nd, Monday morning, 10 a.m. I'm starting the retrospective for Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be streaming that probably all day. And
I won't. I'll be messed up.
Yeah, no, you'll be asleep.
Well, I'll be asleep, but I'll still be functioning. You know how that goes.
The current plan is for me to stream on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to try and do a show, depending on how well you can talk.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I might be doing the whole... I think I'll be able to talk okay. I'm supposed to sew up the holes.
I'll see what news is available and then try to put together a show that hopefully...
I might minimize speaking.
Yeah, we'll see. But then...
you're going to grill out in my house.
I'm going to grill out and cook, and you won't be able to eat it. Yeah, no. Yeah. Me and your wife are going to bond. We're going to be in there just enjoying time in the kitchen. I'm going to teach her how to cook a little bit. You're going to enjoy the fruits of this at some point.
I will, I hope.
Because hopefully she'll remember it, or we'll at least write it down.
You know what's funny, though?
Huh?
She doesn't use the grill, so I'll be the one using the grill.
Well, maybe I'll teach her how to use the grill.
No, my grill.
Is it raining?
No, that's me.
Oh, yeah, your fan's going on.
Yeah, I always had the fan on. This is my countermeasure for your problem. Small fan, never stops blowing. And I actually have it in rest. And I bet if you walked over there right now, actually I'm going to, I bet it's hot.
Okay, go touch it.
I'm going to touch it.
Yeah, go touch it. He's walking over. He's going to put his hand on it.
I was wrong.
It's nice and cool?
Yes.
Ice cold?
Ice cold. But last time I left it on.
It was probably downloading something.
Well, that's the thing, is that it was not, because when I opened it up,
what the hell are you doing down here?
I was rolling on the cord. I need to sit more proper.
We're almost done.
I know, and I'm doing it now for some odd reason.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't doing anything. I turned it on. No downloads, no anything.
Oh, here's dog meat. How's it going, buddy?
And it was on home screen with nothing in the background, just home screen. So I don't know. I don't want to take any chances, so I have a little mini fan.
Yeah, go. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
and then before you leave today, we're going to test that other 4 out to see if it works. Because I haven't used it in a long time. The video might work again.
It just magically is like, oh, hey guys, how's it going? It's been a minute. I was just really tired. I just sounded like John C. Reilly.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast, and just tell you, I like to play some video games too, Anyway, guys, go over there to the Twitch channel, follow us, and then follow on Twitter as well, GameX Play. We're on social media everywhere, GameX Play. What's up?
My goal for this shutdown is to be more involved in social media.
I'm gonna get you set up on your phone.
I know.
With the accounts. That way you can start posting some pictures. Maybe team up with your wife to take some pictures, because if you help her take pictures of her books, she can help you take pictures of your games or whatever you're doing. Also, here's a pretty cool idea that you can do that I've actually utilized. Utilize a screenshot on your PS4.
Yeah.
And then here's what I do. I'll screenshot it and post it to Facebook privately. No one else can see it but me. And
I bet you can just hear him licking me.
But so then when I open up Facebook, right, and either it pops up right away, or I have to go to my page,
yeah,
and it's like, you posted this, but no one else can see it. You can click on it, save it to your phone,
yeah,
and then repost it from there, and then just delete off Facebook, and then repost it on our Instagram. That way, if you're playing Fallout or if you're playing Attack on Titan or whatever you're playing, it's like, hey man, this is what Mike's playing, blah blah blah, and then if I see it and you don't tag enough, I'll edit it and tag some stuff.
I just need to put pictures. I need to be involved.
Yeah. So, I
get too caught up in what's going on to do.
I haven't posted anything on Instagram probably since E3.
I mean, I've been doing side work, so.
I actually, so last thing I posted on Instagram was this big Last of Us thing where I took screenshots from the trailer.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to see on Instagram, but I have I timed it, when she's in the car and she's shooting, and you can actually see the hole right underneath her eye.
No, let me see.
You're gonna have to really look in there. You can't zoom.
I am.
Are you zooming? Oh, look at it. Look at it.
It's right next to her nose.
Yep. Boom. I timed it, dude. Because I was playing it and I kept doing this and tapping the play and pause button.
That's awesome, though. It looks. Yeah. I'm hyped. I'm ready for it. Me
too. And if you guys want to see me play some Last of Us, go check us out on Twitch. Go check us out on YouTube, where those videos are getting uploaded there as well. And of course, the podcast is available wherever fine podcasts are available. Yes. We're on the Apple Podcasts app. Google's coming out with a podcast app now, not just the Google Play Music. I haven't looked into it at all. I haven't even checked it out to see how good it is. But we're on our good, gracious host of Podbean. If you have the Podbean app, that's great. It's a great app. And then, of course, on Spotify. We have a new listener from Spotify. And he commented on a random video on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Did you know about this?
No, because I didn't get an update for the YouTube.
I thought I told you about it the other day.
You might have.
Because I might be able to log in here and look at my notifications. Okay, here it is. He commented on episode 34.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me about this. Yep.
So, this is a while ago. And it was E3, whatever that one was. And he said, just started listening to y'all on Spotify today. Love the show. And I just wanted to put faces to the voices, so I came to see your faces. And I love it even more now knowing that you're metal fans, too. Hold on. This is going to play. Nope. No, it isn't.
It is. It is playing, but
it's playing. I had the volume down. He says, I seen your Iced Earth flag in the intro video and was like, yep, these are my kind of people. Keep on, keep it on, guys. And that was from a user on YouTube called That's Not Okay.
And then I forgot about me in the clip where I was running across the table after it sounded like a car hit the side of the house.
Yeah, that was
awesome. It literally sounded like a car.
Look at us. We look like babies. This was actually almost a year ago, because guess what video this is? This is episode 34, E3 2017 preview.
preview.
Yeah, this is like the week before E3 of 2017.
Wow.
So, yeah, dude, that's not okay. That is very okay to leave us comments and love.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And we implore all of you to do the same. If you like what we're doing, man, leave us a comment, leave us a thing. Also, one last thing before we get out of here. I swear I'm going to wrap this up. I checked this out on Podbean. Have you checked us out on Podbean? Because you can go follow us on the Podbean app, which is our, the app from our gracious host, because we are up to 835 followers.
I know.
And so all of you guys who have followed us on there, thank you so much. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week when we record on the 4th of July.
Yes.
With or without a lot of Mike. We'll see.
Yes, we will. We will see.
Until then, guys, keep gaming on. I've been Brando.
And I have been Mike.
Later on, guys, game on.